have got a jam-packed day. You guys are not even ready for all the deliciousness and amazingness that is going to happen right here on this stage. Are y'all excited? Are you excited? I want to hear you scream. Yes, look at the cosplayers. Where are my cosplayers at? Make some noise. All right, you guys, let's get this party started with our first panel. Yes, I like those dance moves. I like it. This is NFT, the beautiful and smart digital object. I'm going to bring out your moderator. She is none other than Della Morta. Give it up for Della Morta. I can't hear you. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Yay, ComicCon. All right, please welcome to the stage our panelists for today. They should be coming right up behind me. Meow, meow, meow. We have panelists. I'm not going to be the only one that speaks to this morning. Oh, panelists. Anybody? Hello, good morning. Speakers, join us on the stage. Wonderful. Yes, oh, sorry, please. Yay, please welcome our panelists to the stage this morning. Yay. All right, so a couple pieces of housekeeping for this morning. Thank you so much for being here on the first ever panel at LA Comic-Con on NFTs. Very momentous time. So thank you for being here. We are being streamed. I think we're also in the ComicCon Metaverse, correct? So if there's people at home watching us, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us so early this morning. All right, by raise of hands, who here knows what an NFT is? Excellent. Okay, we got some noobs in the office, in the hall. How about who has bought an NFT? Excellent. And who has minted or created an NFT? Yeah, okay, excellent. All right, so there is definitely some people who know what we're talking about in the audience this morning, and there's some who don't. So we are gonna give you a bit of a high-level presentation on NFTs and art this morning, and then at 11 a.m. in room 403B at 11 a.m., we're gonna be doing the ABCs of NFTs. So you can come ask questions and be part of that. We're gonna do more of a walkthrough of how to participate in NFTs. So now I'm gonna introduce you to our panelists. Our first gentleman here is Colin. Colin is with Vadim, and his team has created the ComicCon Metaverse. So Colin, thank you very much for being here. Then we have Mike. Mike is with Acoin. Acoin is part of the cryptocurrency and the metaverse that Akon, the artist, has created with his partners. Mike is part of that. Then we have Nicholas. Nicholas is here with Apollo NFT Studios. And then we have Lawrence. Lawrence has come all the way from Florida this morning, so thank you so much for being here with us. Lawrence has a company called EcoFi. EcoFi is a platform where you can participate in NFTs. Then we have Strawberry. Lots of people in the audience will know Strawberry. Strawberry's with Oniforce. Yay, we got some Oniforce fans in the audience here. And then we have Tara Naomi. And she's an artist and a creator. She's gonna tell us about her experience in the NFT world. So we're gonna get started here with the basic question. What is an NFT? So Strawberry, why don't you start? And don't forget, panelists, to speak into the microphone clear and concisely. Thank you, Strawberry.
Well, GM Comic-Con, good morning. How's everyone doing? The day's starting, we all got our coffee, waking up, but NFT, what is it? Simply put, it's a non-fungible token. They are tokens that exist on a blockchain, sometimes represented by artwork, sometimes represented by digital land or assets, but also can represent things in the real world as well. Effectively, an NFT is something that is digitally verified on the blockchain and owned by the end user. Whereas in the past, we've had digital assets through both video games and online that other companies had traditionally owned. Now NFTs allow the user to own those digital assets themselves.
Great, thank you for that. Very, very important stuff happening here. So Tara, I'm gonna throw this one at you because you're an artist, and I think NFTs have been really powerful in the artist and creator community. why do you think NFTs matter to artists?
Okay, so multi-tiered answer here. First of all, I am an artist. I'm a musician. I come from the background of major label, then independent artist, Universal Music Island Records, and I actually got my rights back to my publishing earlier this year when I was starting to create NFTs. I'm too short for this mic thing. I'm just gonna pull it here. There we go. So I started creating NFTs as a way to interact with my audience more directly. I had tried crowdfunding as an artist, I had tried Patreon, I tried all these different methods to build community around my art independently. And NFTs have been the single technological development that has expanded my audience and my connection with my audience in a way that I was never able to do before. And so much so that after I released my first big project with one of the songs that I got back from Universal Music with a company called Async Art, I ended up joining the team and in the community relations partnerships team of Async Art, which is an incredible platform, and now I'm working on other teams. Warp Sound AI is an AI music project. So the world of NFTs for artists is really just opening up, it's just beginning, and we can kind of scratch the surface, but if it at all interests you, if you're a creator and you want to find another way to reach a different group of people with your art, this is something that you should be looking into. And I'm super excited to be here to talk to everybody about it. Thanks.
Great, thank you so much. I mean, it is really important. We highly recommend you guys getting involved with this. It's going to change, it is changing the world, and it's not going anywhere. And this can apply to all kinds of aspects of life, not just as a creator, but in real estate, any kind of agreement that you can make. This NFTs can help fortify those agreements. Colin, I'm going to have you ask or let us know about the ComicCon Metaverse and how that works with artists here in artists and collectors.
Yeah, hi everybody, good morning, nice to see everybody. So yesterday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we launched the ComicCon Metaverse into the world, which is your home. It's the home for artists and creators. It's been built for you. It has a coin, so it has a ComicCon coin. You can go to ComicConMetaverse.com, you can learn all about it. And hello to everybody watching right now in the ComicCon Metaverse. We're streaming all of the stages. And it's really a place for artists to show their work. You'll always have a place there. You'll be able to have a gallery there, free of charge. And fans will be able to come in and visit. There'll be meet and greets. All of the great things that you get to do at Comic-Con, you can do in the ComicCon Metaverse. We're really, really excited about it. And the part I'm most excited about is seeing what you guys do with it, what the artists and the fans create. And our slogan at the moment is, it's Comic-Con without all the walking. So come in, please. It's going to be open for the weekend, and if you go in there, you're also going to get free coins. We're giving coins away to people. So go get some, and download the NFT wallet as well. It's an entire ecosystem of all the things that we're talking about. It's been designed and built for you guys, so we hope you enjoy it.
Awesome, thank you. I'm really excited about this too, because as a collector, I can create a space. I don't have to necessarily be an artist, because I'm not an artist. I love to have artists work on me, but I love to support artists. So as a collector, I can create a gallery in the metaverse and showcase the artists that I'm promoting or that I am collecting.
Exactly, that's a great point. As you're collecting NFTs, you need a place to put them. So we give you a gallery to be able to do that, to share with your friends and connect with other fans and artists too.
Awesome, thank you so much for that. I'm very, very excited about the metaverse. I did get a sneak peek a week ago and it was super cool. So definitely take the opportunity to check it out and participate. Lawrence, I would love to ask you about EcoFi and how you are working with artists.
Well, thank you. GM, everybody. 1 2 1 2, is this thing on? Okay, so EcoFi is looking at the democratization through art as a DAO. And most humans cannot look out in the world. You have to go to a museum to look at, let's say, a Picasso. But the idea that you can now own a piece of a Picasso is the reality that we're creating. And I am super excited about that because there's nothing like being able to have something that's yours that has value that typically in the past history of humanity was not even available. So that is the possibility that EcoFi is looking at, the DAO of art.
Great, thank you very much for that. I'm really, so Lawrence and his team at EcoFi are part of the booth that almost everyone on the panel is part of. We're in booth 115. Booth 115, you can come by, ask some questions about NFTs. You can see some of the artwork that's displayed by Strawberry and some of the artists that Lawrence is working with. So we encourage you to come by and say hello, 115. So Nicolas, would you talk about the work that you're doing and some of the artists that you have enjoyed working with on an NFT project?
Absolutely. So, good morning, everyone. My name's Nick. I do a couple different things in the NFT space. Been in the space since 2017 when we were just kind of dreaming of what NFTs would be. Since that time, I've gotten to kind of see this baby emerge into the beast that it's become today. And you know, sometimes I say beast as a good thing, sometimes it's a terrible thing, and you're seeing all different experimentation and crazy stuff happening in the NFT space. But to your question, I think I've been fortunate in that when I got involved in the NFT space very early on, comic art was always a passion for me. My grandfather is Jose Delbo, a comic artist that a lot of you may know from his work at DC and Marvel for nearly 70 years. When COVID hit and all these cons shut down, it was really hard for those older artists to continue to create their work and continue doing the things that you guys come here to enjoy. So at the time I had been involved in the NFT space and thought it was an excellent venue for comic artists and other traditional artists to take their work, digitize it, and really take it to a different level as they were gonna be, you know, interacting with their fans in a whole new way. So we got him started. He was my first client, quote unquote. I was a lawyer at the time and really just trying to help him get started. That it basically launched in the 6 months after that, and so I got to work with him. I got to work with traditional artists like Trevor Jones, like Hackatow, you know, some of the big names in the NFT space who have just you know, turned into these incredible artists who always were incredible artists really, but really didn't have the platform to reach a global scale with their art. And so, you know, some of the things that I'm sure everyone on this panel would agree with is that NFTs are allowing artists exposure and a democratization of a platform like you've never really seen in traditional art, but also specifically for digital artists who really never had a method of tangibilizing and then selling that art. So what we do is we consult with brands, we consult with artists to help them go from creating amazing art either, you know, on a canvas, on a you know, a program or digitally, and take that to the next level, make it NFTs, market it, get it on a platform. And then the other side is we have this studio, Apollo NFT Studios, where we're actually helping artists that are traditional 2D artists take their work, make it 3D, bring it into these different metaverses in a more consumable way, bring it into VR, and really help build that bridge where artists can really evolve their art through NFTs.
And we collaborated with Nick and Apollo to create what I think is one of the coolest NFTs and coins I've ever seen. It's a collectible coin for LA Comic-Con. There's a very limited number of them. It's at booth 1015. You go over, you scan a coin, and you're gonna get a Jose Delbo collectible coin with Satoshi Verse on it, and then Stanley the octopus on the other side. It is beautiful.
So booth 1015 to get that token. I highly suggest watching this panel, then watching the other panel, the ABCs on NFTs, and then going to 1015 to get your token. Great answer, thank you for that. Mike, Nicolas brought up a concept that's interesting about working with like traditional artists and bringing them into the digital era, which for some people can be a bit of a challenge. I just did the PR program for Gala Games and Concept Art House and the drops they did with Frank Miller for the 30th anniversary of Sin City. So this was really interesting because Frank is in his 70s, never really done anything in the digital space, but now he's another like trendsetter again in the future of digital era and comic book artists. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how ACoin came about, how that's working with artists. I know I'm throwing you a lot of questions, and sort of how you're teaching your artists or working with your artists to create stories to build community in the digital world. Because that's a really challenging thing for a lot of artists, is like, how I can paint, but I don't know how to go out and meet people. I can go meet people, but I can't paint. So telling the story and building community is challenging for some artists, but the digital era can actually help with that. So maybe you can share how that works with you guys.
Sure, thanks, and good morning, everybody.
To the microphone.
So at ACoin, we started where part of ACon created us, and we got together to create a cryptocurrency to actually help African entrepreneurs rise up, be able to have access to elements that can help them see their dreams come true and connect them with the outside world. As NFTs were happening, a lot of people were coming to us because we're already in the space. What do you do? What happens here? How do we do this? How do we do it right? Because too often what we saw happening in the NFT space was kind of an eBay mentality, a garage sale mentality, where people were just creating NFTs, putting them out there and thinking they're going to be an instant millionaire. And it doesn't happen. There's a lot of marketing, a lot of smarts, and in any advertising, in any entertainment, it's about the story. Can you connect with your audience? An artist needs to have an audience, the story needs to have an audience. What we do is draw the stories out of them. There's no manager, there's no production company, there's no studio telling you what you can and can't say. We get honest, raw truth out of them. And we use that to connect with their audience. And we also bring in musicians, we bring in other artists to create collaborations, so that what happens is you're growing audiences as opposed to just monetizing audiences. You know, the digital space is a medium, and it's a medium that allows us to do a lot more than we could before, but it still requires great ideas and great storytelling to it, and that's what we try to bring together at ACoin.
Thank you for that, and congratulations. I think it's really powerful that also, I don't know how many people in the audience have been to Africa, but the idea that digitally around the world we can all be connected and we can be supporting artists that I've never met, but I could get exposure to because of the work that you guys are doing.
And it's not just African artists, it's entertainers, musicians, athletes, all over. We have some incredible ecosystems that'll be coming out, and you'll be seeing them with a lot of recognizable names.
Sorry, I don't want to be a misspoken. I don't mean just Africa, but just around the world. Like, I also love South American artists. Obviously, my moniker is from that part of the world. So I think that just being exposed to other artists and having that ability to support artists that I would never have been exposed to before is really powerful. Strawberry, I'm going to throw a question to you. I love your story about how you started the Pizza DAO. Would you share that? Because I think that was really powerful for you in creating community and parlaying that into the rest of the work that you're doing with Oniforce.
Absolutely. I definitely want to piggyback off the sentiment that community is effectively the driving force behind the NFT space. For the first time, we were able to gather around each other in social means and create value for not only, again, ourselves, but the community around us. Early in February, I was introduced to NFTs through a mutual friend, and a few days later, we had, with a group of random strangers on Clubhouse, the idea to throw the world's largest pizza party. And how would we accomplish this? We would accomplish this by selling NFT artwork and then using the proceeds to distribute amongst the world's pizzaiola and then distribute free pizza throughout the world. So with a group of random strangers that I had just met and now have become my pizza family, we raised roughly $1 million, took half of that money, and then distributed that again to pizza places, giving them $625 all around the world to hand out pizza. We onboarded about 260 different pizza places in 60 different countries all around the world. And on May 22nd, which is Bitcoin Pizza Day, made famous by Laszlo, who bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin, now roughly worth $500 million, the most expensive pizzas probably ever bought. But we were successful in being able to literally pizza the planet. People from China to Africa, South America, were all able to enjoy pizza together because, again, we wanted to create a community that truly believes pizza should be free in one way or another, and we're using both NFTs, the blockchain, and DeFi to bring that to the world. And then with that, and learning on how to create community through simply the idea of pizza, we were able to create Oniforce, which has now become its own digital IP that allows the end user to effectively, to put it in terms of ComicCon, potentially own a character from, let's say, like the Marvel universe. However, this is our IP in Oni, and those that hold the tokens are able to do pretty much whatever they'd like as well. So again, that helps influence story within the community. People are driven by the narrative, and have all come together around some really truly amazing concepts, ideas, IP, and artwork.
Thank you for that. It's just so fun and so exciting to hear about these innovative ways that people are, just doing crazy things and having it come together. And also it reminds me, we got to talk about World Pizza Day coming up, because I think I might have a sponsor for you. So we could have some real fun with that. I'm going to ask each one of you kind of the same question, a little bit altered depending on what kind of work you're doing. But Tara, why don't you tell us a little bit about you as an artist and how you're building community for your work?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have to say, community can't be stressed enough, and it is sort of a catchphrase right now. But really, that is the most powerful thing that all of this is building. Whether it's pizza, whether it's Oniforce, whether it's projects, it's like the ability to create that community in a way where it's a mutually beneficial situation for collectors and creators, and we all can build together. And many of us were building in public. We're just trying things. It's so new right now. Everything's so new that we're able to bring our community into the process of creating whatever it is that we're creating. And I want to also say, just as an artist, because my focus always was strictly on the art of it, but one of the most incredible things about NFTs is the underlying utility that you can connect to art. You can connect experiences, you can connect, metaverses, you can connect access to all kinds of things that actually go beyond the art. Like one of the projects that I'm working on right now, Warp Sound AI, we have a PFP coming, which is a profile pic. That's when you see the randomly generated, Oniforce is a PFP, you see Bored Ape Yacht Club, these randomly generated 10,000 piece NFT collections. So ours comes with AI generated unique one-of-one music. And so we're able to create an NFT, an image that looks kind of like one of these guys. And by the way, if anyone wants stickers, I have them. Come find me after, I will give you stickers. And there are 3,333 of these, each different character, and they all sound different. The music is all unique one-of-one, and then people can take their unique one-of-one music, they can own it, like how Strawberry was just saying, you can potentially own your character. You can own your music. It's commercial-free license. You can make your own song out of it. You can remix it. You can upload it to Spotify, whatever you want to do. So this is sort of the underlying utility that now is coming with a lot of these projects, and it's really just the beginning of what we can do with the smart contract technology that powers all of these art projects.
That's amazing. I'm very excited to see that work. And so is the contract tied? So if I own the song, there's a royalty that goes back to the original creator?
No, well, if you sell it. If you sell your PFP, there's typically a creator royalty that the creator will always be paid in perpetuity, which is also one of the amazing things about NFTs. For the first time, if you're an artist and someone buys your work for $100 and then, 5 years later they sell it for $1 million, typically you would not receive any of that in the traditional art world. With NFTs, you do. You're tied, you're bound forever to the sales of your art through smart contract technology. So in our case, if you use the song, there's no royalty that goes back to us. But if you sell the PFP and the song that comes with it, then we receive a creator royalty for that piece.
Congratulations, that's amazing. I'm gonna have to grab a sticker from you afterwards.
Please, I want to hand out stickers. I have a handbag full of them, please, yes.
Lawrence, maybe you can tell us one of the, like, what is a strategy that you are incorporating to help build audience at EcoFi, or encouraging artists that are working with you to build their audience, bring them to you, participate in what you guys are doing?
Well, I think the cool thing that's happening right now, as everybody's alluded to, we are creating the future. We're literally sitting here figuring it out. And what's so cool about that is we had an idea about a year and a half ago, my team and I, we just had this idea. We're like, what happens? How do we let people who are struggling with stuff, or dealing with it, all the crazy stuff that people are dealing with, how do we give everybody a chance to own a piece of art, to start to build a collection, to create something that has long-term value? The first thing we did is we wrote a staking contract. We said, look, it doesn't matter. You put in $1, you put in $1 million, it doesn't matter. If you participate in the ecosystem of EcoFi, we will reward you, and you will be able to create and buy art just by holding whatever you hold on the platform, which then everything that's minted on our platform must be minted with the Sprout currency, which is our secondary currency. And it's like, okay, now you're democratized. You put in whatever you put in, you are equally rewarded, and then fees are shared among people so everybody can begin building value. And then the last idea we came up with was just thinking about, well, can we back these NFTs with tangible real world assets? And that's how Picasso and Keith Haring and some of the pieces you can see at our booth came to be. We started purchasing those and backing every NFT with an actual asset.
And so would that be like a fractionalized ownership?
Yes.
So can you explain that to the audience a little bit? Because sometimes I think this came up last weekend on a panel too, is that you don't have to own like the whole NFT either. You can participate in like $1 million NFT on a dollar by dollar basis. Can you maybe share a little bit more about that?
Right, so the beautiful thing is when we're minting, when we're creating the NFT, let's say there's a Basquiat that I love. When we create that, we're now fractionalizing. We're saying X amount, in this case 1,000 pieces, are, in this case, traded for Sprout, and you now own a piece of that Basquiat. That is yours. That sits on your wallet. You have that piece. And whether you want to hold that, or you want to trade it, or you want to just show it virtually, there's all kinds of cool things, put it on the big screen, that's yours. And you can verify that it is yours. Here's the dope thing. This is one of my favorite things about what we're doing. I love this. If somebody in here is crazy enough to collect all the fragments of the piece, we will just straight up deliver that Picasso or that thing to your door. You get all those, we're gonna be like, boom, we're just gonna send it to you, deliver it to your door, and you could put that on your wall or not, leave it in the gallery, have it in the metaverse, which I'm super excited about, or whatever. That's what we're creating, so come join us in whatever you're doing, come join us, because we are literally creating the future. That's what's up.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that about collecting all the pieces, because an associate of mine just did that with a Banksy.
There you go.
It was actually some pieces of tile from a wall that had been salvaged because the wall had fallen. They salvaged the pieces, and then they NFT'd them in various ways, but then the person who bought all 9 pieces got all 9 pieces actually delivered to them. So NFTs are really interesting because there's not just one way to skin the cat. You can be very creative in how you deliver and create the NFTs and have people participate. Again, in the Frank Miller project that we just did over the summer, there was 10 drops. There was a couple one-of-ones, there was a couple limited series, like the first 1,000 people to buy this piece at that price. So there's all kinds of variations that you can do. So Nicolas, when you were working with your grandfather, what was like the first thing that you thought, okay, how do I transition you from like the traditional world to the digital world, and how do we start again building community? Like, what was the one thing that sort of was the aha moment?
Well, I think whenever you're trying to explain a new technology that you believe is a groundbreaking technology to an 86-year-old man, you have to really dumb it down to the basics of what this actually does at a fundamental level. And so I think getting him to understand that really what he was creating was digital art, and that the NFT was just a technology that allowed collectors to verify the authenticity and the scarcity of that digital art, was really all an artist needs to understand to get started in this space and to come to terms with what they're actually creating. Because everything else, as revolutionary as it is just an extension of things that artists already want to do and already wish they can do. So connecting with your fans, it's easier through NFTs. Connecting, selling to a broader community, it's easier with NFTs. And all of that is taken care of, by these guys who do all the heavy lifting on the platform side. For the artist, there's so much you have to do, but there's also so many people that are in the space that are there to help you. There's so many platforms that are trying to enable artists. So with Jose, one of the things we really wanted to do was connect with his fans, exactly that, and create new fans, really, a younger generation, a new generation of fans who were collecting digitally and weren't able to consume the traditional, comic books of 30 years ago, or the kind of the high-priced original drawings that he was doing at different conventions. And so one thing we did very early on was we wanted to create this Satoshi character around the theme of blockchain. And so we looked at the space and said, wow, there's really not a superhero for the Bitcoin or blockchain space. Who better to create this superhero than the man who's been doing it for 70 years? And from that idea, the Satoshiverse was created, which is our big, project now that we've just launched recently. And like these guys, we did avatars. We did 10,000 avatars that you can own. But when we were looking at the space, we saw, there's so much more that can be done with these avatars. Thinking about where the space is going to be in 2 years, building for the metaverse. So our avatars are all natively 3D. They're all built in Unreal Engine, so you can run around. Eventually you'll be able to run around things like the ComicCon Metaverse with your avatar. Each avatar has its own generated soundtrack. They all have backgrounds that are programmatically generated in 3D, which will be the backgrounds to the play-to-earn game that we're building. We really wanted to, what we've been focused on is what can we do? What's next, right? How do we lead the way through this technology and show people that it's not, it's not a money grab, it's not a scam, it's the way that we're going to progress forward in digital art as a whole, not just in this niche of the NFT space.
Thank you for sharing that. And time is getting short, and I want to ask everybody one more question after I ask these two a question. Mike, can you tell us what is one tip that you give to the artists that you're working with in creating their communities or telling their story? Again, what's that aha moment that helps bring people to what your artists are working on?
So here's the real simple tip. Community starts with conversation. And that conversation is one-on-one with the artist drawing something out. We did that with the folks who created the Cicada 3301 puzzle. They've never been out in public before. We got together with them. We found out that there are still 50 to 60 pieces of buried treasure across Europe that are out there. We have put out the first of a series of NFTs which has clues inside them to find this bit of treasure. And there's a lot of fun coming out ahead, but this came from a conversation really digging in deep, and we can create some notoriety, we can create some fun, we can create some adventure. And if you do an NFT right, you're not only giving someone a great experience, you're giving them the bragging rights to what they own. And so it all comes from conversation.
That's great. So again, the takeaway is start connecting on all the platforms, Discord, Reddit, Twitter, whatever's at your disposal, and start putting yourself out there to connect with people. So Colin, this is a perfect place to end with you there, because really the metaverse that he's created, his team Vadim has created with ComicCon, the ComicCon Metaverse, is one of those places where you can go participate and connect with people.
Exactly. So the scavenger hunt across Europe sounds spectacular. And that's really, we're at ground zero. This is kind of the alpha of the NFT. We were part of pioneering the NFT back in 2015, which starts as an image, a video, you're collecting art. But that art, think of it like a piñata. If you smash it open, what's the experience that it provides? Where does it go? What happens when you combine it with other NFTs? The scavenger hunt is a great example. You can go find gold and treasure in Europe. Then you can take it into the metaverse. What happens in the digital virtual world? What happens when you combine it with others? So we're really at the beginning, and where this is going is going to be incredibly, incredibly interesting and fun. If you think about what the internet started as, we had to convince people to get web pages, right? Get a web page. Why do I need a web page? It's good for your business. What the hell does it matter for my business? That was the internet of information. This is going to be 100x times what that is. This is the internet of value, right? And value is not just in the monetary, it's also in the experiential. This is an experience. The ComicCon Metaverse was built so that we can go in and have an experience together. The thing that we can have there that we can't have here is that fantasy can be brought to life in that world. Your avatars can do magical things. NFTs can unite you with other people. You can have access to special rooms. There'll be Easter eggs, all sorts of wonderful experiences and that value. And you're gonna gain value because you're gonna have the coin that goes with it. That the more you contribute and the more that you're a part of this, the more value that will be generated. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy and it is wildly exciting.
I have shivers, and I talk about this all the time, and it doesn't stop getting exciting. So we're really excited that you guys all got to join us this morning. A couple little housekeeping notes again. We are at booth 115 and then booth 1015. Was there another booth that we wanted to throw out there? I think, okay, so those are a couple places you can come meet some of us that will be talking about NFTs. Plus, we're going to go upstairs to room 403B and do a nitty-gritty conversation about NFTs. We'll be open for questions and answers. I want to give a big thank you to ComicCon for taking the step and the leap into the future with all of us, particularly Andrew Sheldon, who is like such a graceful person organizing everything here. I also want to give a shout out to this lovely lady who is participating and doing the sign language, because I think this is super innovative and really powerful, and I appreciate that she's here doing this. Couple other things. I just want to run down the list and have everybody tell us where you can be found, or what's the best place, like Twitter, Discord, and like what your handle is. So Colin, where do we find you?
Go to the ComicCon Metaverse, ComicConMetaverse.com, jump into the Discord, you'll find us there.
Perfect. Mike?
You can find us at acoin.io or acoinnft.io.
And is that where people are talking to you, or you have a Discord from
Discord, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere.
Awesome, great. Nicholas?
For us, if you're an artist on the consulting side, it's apollonft.com. And then if you're interested in the game and superhero universe we're building, it's satoshiverse.io.
Great.
And
Lawrence?
for us, you can find us and have access to everything at ecofi, ecofi.io. And that is also the place if you're a creator or you need a gallery or you want to learn how to mint or you want to just participate, that's the spot. Start there.
Awesome. And Strawberry?
And you can find us at 0n1force.com, at 0n1force on Twitter, or myself, Strawberry WTF on Twitter. And I just wanted to leave with one last quick anecdote. Web 1.0 was a new hope. Web 2.0, the Emperor Strikes Back. Web 3.0, Return of the Jedi.
Yes. And Tara, where do we find you?
Oh man, well it's a complicated question. So you can find me on Twitter at Tara Naomi, TerraNaomi, and then I kind of link out to all the other places. You can find me on the Warp Sound AI Discord, on the Async Art Discord. You can find me in the booth with Colin at the ComicCon Metaverse. We just did a super special for the first time ever licensed drop with Kid Robot, and we now have a Kid Robot Dunny that we've made specifically for ComicCon Metaverse and for LA Comic-Con. It's the King Ether Dunny. So I'll be over there talking about that. I'm
Awesome, that's perfect. Lots of places to find you. All right.